Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a very big lineup of news to share with all of you today. Today's date is July 3rd, 2025, and it's Thursday. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I can't believe tomorrow's going to be July 4th already, Independence Day, and I hope you guys are ready to get out there, enjoy some fireworks, hang out with the family. I know I'm ready to do that. Let's get into this, guys. Lots of news coming out last night as Ukraine launched a pretty significant drone attack once again into Russia. We've got reports of defense facilities being hit and also this massive ammunition depot you can see here on your screen. So let's start off with this story. Ukraine blows up a large ammunition depot in occupied Donetsk region. Last night, drones operated by Ukraine's security service, also known as the SBU, successfully struck a Russian ammunition depot in the village of Veliki Orikov near Kharkiv, Donetsk region. Hopefully I'm pronouncing those names right. I might be butchering them, and I do apologize. But this video footage coming out last night as Ukraine's security service completely detonating and destroying this massive ammunition depot. I've got several videos I can show you guys on that today, and we'll show you that information on this hit. We also have reports that the Energia plant, which has been attacked before, the Lipetsk region, just very close to Moscow, a little bit southwest of Moscow. It was hit last night also, and this plant produces batteries and power sources for Russia's military for the utilization of missiles and bombs. So we've got a report on that to go over, and then also a possible gunpowder factory that could have been hit in Russia's Tambov region, which is literally just right next door to the Lipetsk region to the east. And then we also have information inside of central Ukraine in the city of Poltava. We actually had a recruitment center that's used for Ukraine's military that came under attack by Russian Shahed drones. It was hit at least 3 times, and we do have reports, unfortunately, of deaths and injuries at that location. I've got multiple videos coming out from there as well. Then just so much other information to get into, guys. I'm going to get right into this, start sharing all this, these stories and information with you here today. Let's start off here with no reports. SBU drones blew up Russian ammunition depot near the occupied town of Kharkiv in Donetsk region. The strike hit Russian stockpiles in the village of Veliki Orikov late last night. Explosions began around 10 p.m., followed by a massive secondary detonation and fire. Kharkiv, used by Russia as a key rear base, hosts command posts and logistics hubs. So we've been seeing a lot of strikes recently inside the Donetsk region and also Luhansk. And we know that the Russians are really picking up their offensive right now. They're moving a lot of troops into these occupied areas. So that's probably why Ukraine is carrying out so many strikes right now. I want to say this is at least 2 or 3 days now. We've been seeing massive hits in the Donetsk Oblast, also in Luhansk, in these occupied regions. Okay, so there's the official report from the SBU today. Now for more translated, last night a Russian ammunition depot was hit in temporarily occupied Kharkiv, Donetsk region. A large fire broke out at the site. Locals reported hearing repeated detonations. That's nice is what War Translated says. So we got a 30-second clip here. It's going to have like a little bit of a montage of different clips of this explosion and detonation to this ammunition depot. And I do apologize. I believe this video will have a little bit of profanity. That is in Russian, and there will be some subtitles here on the screen. But aside from that, check out these massive detonations here at this ammunition depot.
Ебать. Обожаю это. Сука. Ну какого хуя? Сука. Да.
Ух ты, ебать его в рот, нахуй. Вот это въебали.
All right, just a quick 30-second clip here, but yeah, we can see a bunch of different clips put together here of this detonation of this massive ammunition depot. Looks like we had a lot of ammunition being destroyed here in this direct hit from Ukraine's SBU using drones. So let's move on to another one now from Max 25, Kharkiv, detonation of ammunition depot. Now this is approximately like a 1-minute clip. It is kind of longer than it probably should be, but I want to show you guys all the way till the end. And what sounds like in the last maybe 3 to 4 seconds of this clip, you're going to hear what sounds like missiles that are cooking off and starting to shoot away from the ammunition detonation. So I want you guys to see this real quick. Take a look at this.
Украина веселится, будет по новостям показывать, что не попали куда. Смотри. Детонируют. Дохуя там было, да? Куда-то полетело. Вот, полетело. Вот, полетело, да.
All right, so it looks like we had a lot of ammunition being stored here, a massive stockpile of weapons that just continued to detonate all through the night over here. And if you guys heard towards the very end there, it sounds like it could have been maybe some missiles that were cooking off or something like that. But we can hear lots and lots of different explosions here at the site of this ammunition depot. So very big hit by Ukraine last night. Now let's move on to Bliskovka. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine confirmed the strike of the Energia plant in the Lipetsk region. Explosions were recorded on the territory of the plant. Production was stopped. The enterprise is engaged in ensuring the serial production of batteries and accumulators for weapons for the Russian army, in particular for universal planning and correction modules, which are in aerial bombs. In addition, this military-industrial complex enterprise produces batteries and accumulators for the Iskander-M complexes, KH-35U sea-based cruise missiles, and energy modules for specialized complexes. You can see they produce lots of different equipment here for many different types of weapon systems and missiles that are used on Ukraine repeatedly. And I want to say this same Energia plant was attacked before. We've reported at least 2 of these that came under attack over the last month or two. And I'm not sure if this was the same one, but I believe we just reported this Energia plant being attacked recently over the last month or so. So it could have been the same one that they went after again. Now look at this from More Translated. Friendly drones paid a visit to the sanctioned enterprise JSC Energia in Russia's Lipetsk region, where they manufacture, among other things, drones and batteries for the Navy and aviation. Of course, Russia's Ministry of Defense claimed they had allegedly shot down 69 UAVs over the Belgorod, Voronezh, Lipetsk, and Kursk regions, as well as over occupied Crimea. They say everything was shot down, the wreckage just happened to fall on its own. Yeah, that's what Russia's Ministry of Defense was claiming today. They shot down a bunch of different UAVs. There was no damage or anything like that. But allegedly, yeah, this Energia plant was hit. And we've got a video here that's just over a minute long. And I want you guys to see this. And towards the end, I'm going to have to pause it because there's a point where somebody's driving a vehicle. They've got music playing. And unfortunately, we can't play music here on YouTube, or we might have some issues there. So I want to show you guys this, and then we'll pause it in about a minute or a minute and a half way through this video. So take a look at this.
Летит.
Это мотоцикл.
А, это мотик, походу.
О, ебать! Охренеть! Вот это гирлянда во дворе. Таких приколов я не видел еще, парни.
Слушай, полетел гондон. Бах! Нихуя себе, пидорас! Ха! Маму его ебал. Пидоры ебучие. Ну хуй плюс, пизда он. Отвечай.
Okay, so what you guys were able to see there was a direct strike on some sort of facility. We'll go back here, right there. something directly got hit. I'm not sure if that was the Energia plant. It could have been. That was directly attacked there, but we were able to see with many of these different videos, there was lots of explosions going on inside of Russia last night, even some drones looking like they were shot down. We've got another man here that's driving through this town, and I believe this is the Energia plant that we're looking at here. Looks like it is completely on fire right over there, and what he's talking about is that all the machines here at this facility were destroyed, everything is blown up, and then at some point he's going to turn around and show that there's a building also just right here. All the windows were blown out due to this drone attack, okay? So it looks like we had a massive strike here on this Energia plant, and according to this information, that's what we're seeing, okay? And we got one more video here we can show you guys also from Nexta. What a big target. The Ukrainian armed forces attacked the Energia factory in the Luhansk region. It is the largest producer of power sources for bombs and drones due to its significance for the Russian military-industrial complex. The factory is under sanctions from the EU, the US, Japan, and other countries. The information about the attack was confirmed by the Ukrainian Center for Countering Disinformation. Interestingly, local officials had just a few hours ago claimed that a parking lot near one of the factories had caught fire. So here's another video allegedly showing this place burned down. We can see a major fire over here. Also, look at this fence that was knocked over. That looks like that same building in the background that somebody was driving by here in that last video, and they were showing all the windows being blown out. So allegedly, this is the facility right here that was directly hit. And we do have some cars that look like they're parked just behind that building. It's kind of hard to see here because this camera is just moving around so much. But based on the information we're getting today, Ukraine was able to make a direct strike on the Energia plant once again in the Luhansk region. Now for Max 25, 3 people died in a fire at a plant in the Tambov region. 3 more were injured, according to the acting governor, Pervishov. Local media reports that a gunpowder factory in Kotovsk was on fire after drone strikes. Okay, so Kotovsk is a city in the Tambov region. So yeah, apparently we had some sort of plant that was being hit, possibly even a gunpowder factory, according to this information. Unfortunately, I don't have any videos coming out from there just yet. This is what Max 25 was reporting just today. So if I get information on that again later, maybe we'll get some video coming out or something showing this gunpowder factory that is on fire. But at this time, unfortunately, I don't have that just yet. Now from Astra, 1 killed and 3 injured in explosion in occupied Luhansk, local authorities reported. One of the injured is in serious condition. The explosion occurred on Taras Shevchenko Street near the local history museum, where an exhibition dedicated to the Kursk operation Potok Stream was being opened. Later, VGTRK journalist Andrei Rudenko said it may not have been a strike, but the detonation of an explosive device. The information is still being clarified. So yeah, we had some sort of explosion over here. Unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry I can't play this video because I believe we could have a body here on the ground. But you can see here there's damage to this building over here. Looks like somebody may have been walking out or something, or walking over to this building. We had some sort of detonation right here. You can see damage to the steps right here, the concrete steps. And something blew up right here, and somebody is unfortunately on the ground there. I'm not sure who exactly that is, but there is reports today there could have been a mayor that may have been taken out and eliminated in some sort of strike over here, okay, and a possible detonation or explosion to some sort of bomb, okay, and I do have that information here for you guys, so I want you to see this as well. From Max 25, he's got a picture here for us that has some information from Telegram, and it says the former mayor of Luhansk died as a result of an explosion in the city center. The explosion occurred on the morning of July 3rd on Taras Shevchenko Street. As a result of the explosion, 1 person died and 3 others were injured. According to preliminary information, the deceased was former Luhansk mayor Manolis Pilovov, if I'm saying that correctly. So yeah, former mayor, apparently. If I said current mayor, I didn't mean that actually. It was former mayor, my apologies. But yeah, allegedly this could be the man who was killed here. Looks like there could have been some sort of targeted strike against him. And we had some sort of detonation of an explosive outside of some sort of office or building over here in the Luhansk region. So that's allegedly who it is that could have been killed over here in this video. And again, unfortunately, I'm sorry I cannot play it for you guys. It might be too brutal to show here on YouTube. But yeah, allegedly could have had a former mayor that was killed over here in this explosion. So now let's move on to War Translated. In Kornevo, Kursk region, a strike on a command post killed the deputy commander-in-chief of the Russian Navy, Major General Mikhail Gudkov. A Alongside him, more than 10 others were killed, most of them senior officers. Okay, so now this information, I want to say this was about maybe a week or two back that we had a report of drones that attacked into the Kursk region in the city of Kornevo and struck a military command post. And I believe this could be linked to that same story that we shared. So yeah, allegedly we have a deputy commander in chief of Russia's Navy, Major General Mikhail Gudkov, and this is him right here in the photo, that has been killed in this strike that took place recently. And I want to say it was no more than a week or two back that we reported that. You guys might remember that story that I shared with you. There was a video actually of a drone directly striking a Russian military command post in the city of Kornevo in the Kursk region. So that's just kind of a follow-up story to that strike, as at the time we didn't actually have any information. So yeah, allegedly a deputy commander-in-chief of Russia's Navy was killed. Now from Jurgen Donetsk, the Russians have attacked the city of Poltava. There are dead and injured, with Trump now completely switching sides to Putin and Europe waiting for the fairy godmother. The Russians will soon be able to slaughter Ukrainians 24/7. So Jurgen Donetsk definitely not very happy. He's a major supporter of Ukraine. And I want to show you guys this video footage coming out showing this recruitment center that I was mentioning earlier that was attacked in the city of Poltava and kind of close to central Ukraine. We have at least 3 confirmed strikes here with Shahed drones on this facility. People have been killed. I think 2 killed so far, at least 11 injured. Take a look at this.
Ебать, да ну нахуй! Ай, ебало валю! Ебать, да ну...
All right, so pretty horrifying footage to watch here with these 3 Shahed drones just slamming into this recruitment office center inside of the city of Poltava in central Ukraine. So pretty horrible information coming out from here. We're going to show you some other videos here also from Vicegrad24. Another video of the Russian suicide drone strikes on Poltava this morning. 2 Ukrainians, civilians were killed and another 11 injured in the attack. So yeah, unfortunately, some innocent people just, bystanders over here. I mean, look at how close people are to this strike. Somebody's inside of their car and they were recording this drone coming in and slamming into that building. You could actually see the first drone that struck the building. Then the second one comes in and slams into it on the side as well, completely destroying the building. Very scary footage out of Ukraine today. Now look at this from Anton Gerashenko. This morning, Russia attacked Poltava as a result of one of the strikes. A fire broke out of the building, the Poltava Recruitment and Social Support Center, according to the ground forces. Another strike caused a fire on the premises of a private residential home. It is already known about 2 people that were killed and 11 injured. So here's another video just showing the damage here in this area after these strikes. About 16 seconds. Take a look. All right, so we can see lots of fires that have broken out. There's the building right there that took direct hits from these drones. See lots of windows and debris scattered all over the place from these strikes. Okay, massive hits from these Shahed UAV drones slamming into that building. So if I get more information on that, I'll let you guys know as well. But from what we understand so far, 2 people have been killed and 11 injured. Now for Bliskovka, the number of victims of strikes on Poltava has increased to 28, the city council reports. 10 apartment buildings, 7 private households, 2 educational institutions and buildings of private entrepreneurs were damaged in the city. 159 consumers were left without electricity. So apparently even some people losing electricity due to these strikes here. Lots of apartment buildings, homes being destroyed, educational institutions due to this one attack from these drones. And apparently 28 people now have been affected by these strikes. So very sad to report that. Now, Ukrainian review. Odessa is once again hit by ballistics. Yeah, we had at least one ballistic missile going into Odessa. I believe it was striking one of the ports over here again. We've seen this numerous times from the Russians. They do go after a lot of the ports, inside of Odessa. These are pictures coming out showing the effects of this ballistic missile. Now for Bliskovka, a Russian Iskander hit the area of one of the berths of the Odessa seaport, Vice Prime Minister Alexei Kuleba reported. At that time, metal was being unloaded from a foreign vessel under the flag of Sao Tome, if I'm saying that right, and Principe at the berth. 6 people were injured. Among them were employees of one of the port operators, a driver. 2 more are Syrian citizens, members of the crew of a civilian vessel. Yeah, people that were literally just part of transport ships or cargo ships that were showing up at this port over here in Odessa were being injured in these strikes. That's exactly where these ballistic missiles were hitting. So yeah, we had some Syrian citizens that were also being injured as well. So just very horrible information coming out from Odessa today with these ballistic missiles directly striking this port once again. And we know the Russians right now, according to Volodymyr Zelensky, he said that that's one of their major goals right now is to try to take over the city of Odessa. And the Russians are going to try to do everything they can to prevent even just any kind of grain or anything flowing out of these ports over here. We've seen so many strikes on this port of Odessa. So very sad news. Now from Slava, a car blown up in the center of Moscow. Local media reports several explosions and a fire at the site of the detonation. Separately reported the alleged liquidation of the commander of the Crimean military district, Ildar, I think is how you say it, Akhmetov in Crimea. So yeah, there was a report yesterday that there was some sort of commander of Crimea's military district that was allegedly taken out recently, and the Russians were threatening on Telegram to they were saying this is war, we're going to respond to this. We're waiting to see what type of actions we're going to take here. But yeah, also we had this report inside of Moscow yesterday. This came out after our update video for the Russia-Ukraine war was released yesterday. That, yeah, we had some sort of car that was detonated over here and blown up. I wasn't able to find the actual details on this to see if there was anybody involved in this vehicle that blew up. Was there a Russian commander or something that was inside this vehicle? We don't really know, but there was some sort of detonation of an explosive that made this car explode inside of Moscow yesterday. So we've been seeing a lot of that recently. Now from NOAA reports, Ukraine has unveiled the Popfly, a multifunctional drone similar to the Switchblade. It can perform recon or strike missions with swappable cameras or warheads. Range is 100 to 120 kilometers recon or 50 to 100 kilometers strike with 2.5 to 5 kilograms of a payload. So a new type of drone has also been released. Kind of looks like the Trembita missile in a way, the shape of it at least. But it's a new type of drone called the Popfly. And it's got multi-functions. Apparently it can perform recon missions and also be used as a strike UAV as well. So there's a new picture of that coming out from Military today, which is a news publication outlet out of Ukraine. Now for Bliskovka, Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated the Ukrainian military on the day of the anti-aircraft missile forces of the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. We thank each of you, those who protect our soldiers at the front and those who allow normality to return to the rear cities. Everywhere you save many lives of our people, the president noted. So yeah, today is a very special day inside of Ukraine. They're celebrating the day of the anti-aircraft missile forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, or the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, excuse me. So pretty much just celebrating, their air defense teams that bring down a lot of these incoming drones and missiles that enter into their territory. They're obviously very important, right? Because lots of innocent people lose their lives if these missiles and drones are not shot down that come from Russia. So they're just celebrating a special day today to honor all the servicemen, a part of Ukraine's Air Force that are utilizing all these weapon systems to bring down these incoming drones and missiles from Russia. All right, now from Ozen Technical, small robotic combat vehicle in Ukrainian Marine service sporting an M2 Browning 50 HMG or heavy machine gun. So I wanted to show you guys this. Pretty cool. I mean, we've been seeing so many different types of drones coming out from Ukraine, and looks like they created a new type of ground-based drone that even has wheels here. It can move around, and it's got a 50 cal attached to the top of that. So I thought it was pretty sweet to show you this on top of that with that new Popfly that came out today. Here's another picture also showing Ukraine's military troops here just kind of doing some sort of training mission alongside with the support of this ground-based drone with that 50 cal attached to it. So very cool to see that today. Let me know what you guys think on that. Now for Military News UA, Belgium and Turkey officially join international drone coalition created to support Ukraine. Now, this is a very big report, okay, because Ukraine obviously needs drones. They're very effective at striking targets inside of Russia, just like we had on the Energia plant today, this ammunition depot. Drones are very much needed for Ukraine's military. And we've got Belgium and Turkey officially joining this drone coalition. So I believe that brings it up to 20 nations now that are now part of this drone coalition. These are all countries that are supporting Ukraine and building drones for them, even setting up defense facilities inside of Ukraine to allow Ukraine to manufacture them. That creates a lot of jobs for their economy as well. So very big news today. Belgium and Turkey joining this drone coalition. Now from next, the U.S. complains that Biden sent too much weaponry to Kiev. Pentagon Press Secretary Sean Parnell stated that the previous administration recklessly handed out weapons for 4 years. Parnell noted that a pause in deliveries would benefit the U.S. and help assess the state of its own stockpiles. So we've got Sean Parnell here, the press secretary of the Pentagon, and this is what he was stating. I think he said this yesterday, actually, and he was kind of responding to these reports that I gave you guys yesterday that the U.S. is halting a lot of aid shipments into Ukraine right now, primarily like air defense, interceptors, lots of different precision munitions, and also like artillery shells as well. And he's kind of, calling on the Biden administration previously, that was before the Trump administration, stating that they gave too many weapons to Ukraine. Is that also possibly what he's saying here, that, they have a shortage of equipment? That's apparently why a lot of these supplies are being halted into Ukraine, because the U.S. has a dwindling supply of stocks of certain weapons. I mean, we have been hearing that the U.S. is low on like Patriot's interceptors, so they don't have a lot to go around. And Trump even said that recently at one of the NATO summits at The Hague just about a week or so ago. So yeah, these were just kind of statements coming out from the Pentagon press secretary that the Biden administration sent too many weapons to Ukraine during their term. Now for Max 25, the U.S. has suspended the transfer of weapons to Ukraine that were already in Poland, according to the Wall Street Journal. The Pentagon noted that this is not about a complete cessation of aid to Ukraine. Trump will be offered support options that are consistent with his goal of ending the war. Okay, so this is interesting. Yeah, this actually came out yesterday as well, but I missed this information yesterday. Just wanted to kind of tie it into today. That's also the weapons that are sitting inside of Poland, as Poland is one of the major gateways before all these weapons flow into Ukraine. The weapons that are in Poland right now are literally just sitting there. They're not moving at all. That apparently the U.S. also ordered Poland to halt all the transfer of weapons that are currently sitting in Poland right now. So that's not good news. We're seeing a complete halt of major weapons that Ukraine uses to defend their skies and hold back the Russians on the front line. And on top of that, we did hear from Tammy Bruce out of the State Department. She was press secretary, she was stating yesterday also that this does not mean a complete cessation of aid to Ukraine, that it will continue in the future. We just don't know how long it's going to be of a pause. Now, it could be days, could be weeks, who really knows, but the longer this goes on, it's definitely not good news for Ukraine. Now for next, Putin said he will have a conversation with Trump today. A conversation with Trump was also announced by Zelensky. Yeah, so allegedly Trump and Putin are going to be holding a phone call today. Not sure what time they're going to be doing that, but if we get some information on that phone call, which we probably will, I will do a separate video for you guys later and give that information. If not, we'll tie it into tomorrow's update for the Russia-Ukraine war. So yeah, allegedly Trump and Putin are going to be speaking today. Now from Vicegrad 24, a phone call between Zelensky and Trump regarding the freeze on military aid to Ukraine is expected to take place tomorrow. All right, and then on top of that, tomorrow we could see Zelensky and Trump holding a phone call, and it's going to be in regards to these aid deliveries or weapons deliveries that are currently on pause right now. So this is from the Financial Times. Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss pause to U.S. weapons deliveries and call. So allegedly tomorrow they're going to be having a phone call talking about this, and Ukraine is probably going to try to see what they can do to lift this pause. We'll see what happens with that, and I'll give you guys details when we hear about this phone call. Now for Max 25, we expect a mass shooting down of Shaheeds. Ukraine and the U.S. signed a contract on the production of interceptor drones, says Zelensky. This was reported today as well, and that is a massive piece of news right there, guys, because these drones, just like what we saw hitting the recruitment center in Poltava today, okay? If they're able to produce a lot of these interceptor drones, that'll help them out big time to take down a lot of these incoming drones into their territory. This is exactly what Zelensky's been calling for a long time, that they need to boost the production of interceptor drones because they're much cheaper too, versus using other types of missiles and whatnot, okay? Drones are very cheap to produce. So according to Zelensky, there's a contract that has been signed between the U.S. and Ukraine in terms of production of interceptor drones. So if that happens to be the case, that's very good news for Ukraine today. Now for Max 25, European governments are considering purchasing American weapons from their defense budgets for the purpose of transferring them to Ukraine, thus increasing defense spending many times over their GDP, fulfilling Trump's main demand, according to Politico. So what this statement means to me is that Europe is preparing to spend a lot of money on Ukraine, okay? So not only are they going to increase their own budgets for defense spending, on top of that, they're going to increase the amount of weapons they're supplying over to Ukraine, which will also increase their defense spending in their nation. So we might be seeing more than the 5% with a lot of these countries, especially some of the larger ones like Germany, France, UK. Many of these countries that are agreeing to 5%, which all of NATO did just over the last week or so at The Hague during that NATO summit. Okay, every country that's a part of NATO is going to be increasing their defense spending to 5%, and then on top of this, with all this increase in defense spending for Ukraine, they're probably going to be pushing well beyond 5%. Many of the top countries in Europe, So yeah, expect lots of defense spending for Ukraine. That's a very big report today from Politico. Now for Bliskovka, air defense forces of Ukraine neutralized 40 out of 52 Russian UAVs. 22 were shot down by firepower, 18 were locally lost or suppressed by electronic warfare. Enemy strike UAVs were spotted in 7 locations, and downed UAVs fell in 1 location. So we had 52 Russian drones going into Ukraine overnight. It looks like 40 out of those 52 were shot down, so very good news. And then again, we did have that report today out of Poltava, that recruitment center that was hit by at least 3 of these drones. Very sad news to report there, with lots of innocent people losing their lives and being injured in those strikes. All right, now our final update from the Kiev Independent. These are the indicative estimates of Russia's combat losses as of July 3rd, according to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And our final update here, Russia's losses as of July 3rd, 1,000 troops, 5 AFVs, 101 vehicles and fuel tanks, 1 tank, 21 artillery systems, 85 UAVs, and 1 special equipment. All right, so across the board here, same thing. It's just not really major fluctuations with major losses on the Russian side. I mean, 1,000 troops about average. AFVs and tanks still pretty much nothing is what we have been seeing recently. Vehicles and fuel tanks been hovering around 100 or less for weeks now. Artillery systems about average, 20 or so is usually what we see right there. So yeah, nothing major here being destroyed on the Russia side. Still pretty low numbers overall. And I want to thank you guys very much for being here for today's update again on July 3rd, 2025. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day today. Let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. But that's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.